Today, we're going to look at a totally different blueprint for understanding autoimmune disease. It comes from the work of Dr. Steven Ehrlich, and it's this 3-layer framework that really flips some of our biggest assumptions on their head. Okay, let's get right into it. You know, for the longest time, the story we've all heard about autoimmunity is pretty simple, right? The immune system gets confused, it starts attacking your own healthy tissue. It's friendly fire. Your body is at war with itself. And look, that's been the main story for a very long time. But this framework, it asks a really powerful question. What if this isn't just one single mistake? What if what we're looking at is actually 3 separate problems, all layered on top of each other, where each one just makes the next one worse? And that brings us to the absolute core idea from Dr. Ehrlich's work. It's not just that there are 3 problems. The real game changer is that the order you solve them in is absolutely critical. If you get the sequence wrong, you're pretty much just running in circles, chasing symptoms. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start at the very foundation with the gut trigger. Then we'll move up to the second layer, the mind amplifier, and we'll finish at the top with the immune reset. This is the exact sequence that Dr. Ehrlich says is essential to make any real progress. All right, let's start at the bottom of the pyramid. Layer 1, the foundation. This is all about what's happening in the gut, but it's focused on a very specific idea he calls the bugs that won't leave. So Dr. Ehrlich's point here is that the immune system isn't just misfiring at random. It's actually completely burned out. It's been stuck in this long, drawn-out battle with these hidden, stubborn infections. And it's this state of constant, high-alert warfare that just pushes it into total overdrive. The official term for this is dysbiosis, and we're not talking about some vague idea like leaky gut. This is a specific, measurable imbalance where these harmful microbes basically set up camp and create this non-stop, low-level hum of inflammation that keeps the immune system on edge 24/7. So here's how that chronic battle creates so much chaos. Because your immune system has been on high alert for so long, it starts to get, well, jumpy. It loses its ability to tell friend from foe. This leads to a case of mistaken identity, something called molecular mimicry. A protein on one of those bad bugs might look almost identical to a protein in your own thyroid tissue, for instance. And so the immune system, trying to do its job, ends up attacking your own body by mistake. Okay, so once that foundational gut issue is being sorted out, we can move up to the next layer. And this one is a really big deal. We're talking about the amplifier. This is all about the direct biological wire that connects your mind to your immune system. Now, this is a pretty radical idea, isn't it? Dr. Ehrlich is saying that a huge part of the treatment is actually changing your entire psychological relationship with your own body. It's about shifting from this mindset of fear and fighting yourself to one of safety and really of alliance. And listen, this isn't just about positive thinking. This is grounded in some really hard science called psychoneuroimmunology. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know. But this whole field gives us concrete proof that our thoughts, our fears, our stress levels, they all create real physical measurable changes in how our immune cells actually behave. So here's the bottom line. Living in a state of fear about your health is not just a mental thing. It physically activates your body's main stress response system, the HPA axis. And guess what? That system then pumps out the exact same inflammatory molecules that drive autoimmune flares. It creates this awful feedback loop. Being afraid of a flare-up can actually cause a flare-up. Breaking that cycle is the whole goal of layer 2. So let's move to the final layer at the top of the pyramid. This is layer 3, the reset. And it's only after you've dealt with the initial triggers in the gut and you've calmed down on the nervous system's amplifier that you can actually start to effectively retrain the immune system itself. And this quote just illustrates the point perfectly. It shows you exactly why the order matters so much. Trying to use immune therapies while the gut is still on fire and the nervous system is in a panic, it's just pointless. It's like trying to heat your house in the winter when all the windows are smashed open. The environment is always going to win. You can really see the huge difference in philosophy here. The conventional way is all about suppression. It's basically taking a sledgehammer to the immune system to shut it down. But the retraining approach is way more intelligent. It's about modulation, fine-tuning the system so it can go back to functioning the way it's supposed to. A really important tool in this layer is something called Low Dose Naltrexone, or LDN. The way it works is fascinating. It very briefly blocks certain receptors, which then tricks your body into producing a huge surge of its own natural endorphins. And it turns out those endorphins are incredibly powerful immune regulators that help calm everything down. And the dose is everything here. We are talking about a tiny, tiny fraction of the standard dose of this medication. It's this microdosing that creates that unique, gentle modulating effect, instead of just blocking things completely. Now, LDN isn't the only thing in the toolbox here. This layer can also include some other really advanced techniques. Therapies like SAT and AAT use things like super-specific acupuncture points in the ear to help desensitize the immune system to certain triggers, whether it's foods or environmental stuff that are still keeping it on high alert. So let's pull all this together. The absolute master key to this whole framework is understanding why that order matters so much. You have to build this pyramid from a solid foundation all the way up. No skipping steps. So here it is one last time. First, you deal with the trigger in the gut that's making the immune system work so hard in the first place. Then, you calm down the nervous system that's amplifying all the alarm signals. And only then, once that's done, can you actually reset the immune response itself. Ultimately, what's so powerful about this framework is that it provides a logical path forward. It's not about playing whack-a-mole with symptoms. It's a genuine systems-based approach that deals with the trigger, the amplifier, and the response in the exact sequence that gives each step the best possible chance to actually work. And that kind of leaves us with a final, big question to think about. We're all so focused on the biological stuff, the diet, the microbiome, but what if understanding and retraining our own mind, learning to see our body as a partner instead of an enemy, what if that's just as critical, just as biological as healing the gut? It's a pretty powerful idea.
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted. I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure. Over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.